So you got your paper pumpkin kit. What are you going to do with it this month? This is the Time for Cake August 2024. Hi there, I'm Julie. If you like to see alternate use for these kits, you're in the right place. Let's take a quick look inside and see what we have to play with this month. We have, once again, an ink spot, some twine, and this kit comes with 2 stamp sets. I always like to open these up and see what I have to play with, and this month did not disappoint. We have 3 beautiful cards that we can create, or if you know me, we can create scrapbooking layouts and cards. As you can see here, this kit is jam-packed with beautiful cards for birthdays. But what if we do a couple of birthday layouts? Now, what I like to do, or what I try to do, is I try to stay true to the kit and not add too much. But in this case here, I think it really needs a little glitter. So I'm going to bring in some supplementary products to work on my layouts. Let me show you what those are. I'm going to bring in, of course, a couple of bases for my scrapbook layouts. These are just plain old white daisy cardstock. And I really do think that this kit needs a little bit of rose gold glitter paper. This is cardstock from my stash. This is mulberry. If you look at the kit, I really do feel that this color really highlights some of the colors that are already in this kit. When I play with these kits, I always try to do 1 set of cards and 2 layouts. And I often separate the kits in thirds, which means that I would use one of these for the card, the way it was meant to be done, and then I would distribute this across the 2 layouts. Now, if you look at this kit right here, there's a lot of different patterns, so I'm going to do it a little bit differently. I might do the cards, but right now, as I'm looking at these colors, I think I'm going to use this for one layout. And then I'm going to separate out some of the colors. I see that I've got some really nice lighter shades here. I might be separating out this kit by color. So let me start working on my layouts, and I'll come back and show you layout number 1 with all of the cut pieces. Let's take a look at how these layouts are shaping up. This is going to be layout number 1, and I'm going to show you what I've used from the kit. I actually cut the back side of this card base right here, and these are the pieces here. You've got 1 and 2. You'll notice that I didn't cut it right on the score line. I didn't want to have the piece of the plate, I guess, for these pieces. I did emboss these pieces. I felt that they were a little bit blank with this embossing folder, and then I ran a little bit of white ink on top because you could see the white from the base. So let's reconstruct this very quickly. And then I used two of these funfold fronts if you want. So you've got one here on this side. It's been cut to allow it to stretch across my full page. And then I have another one here, and again, I cut that apart. It's going to be hidden by this photo, and then this runs across the full page. Now, at the beginning, I did say that I wanted to bring a little bit of glitter paper, and I think that that is what this collection needed. I did cut 2 pieces of the Moody Mauve that matches the back, and I did the same thing. I added a tiny little bit of white ink on top just to really highlight that embossed piece. I did run it clear across, and there's a little bit of an overlap, but that really doesn't matter because my photo is going to go right on top. This is how this layout is shaping up. I just wanted to show you the pieces that I've used from the kit. I will be bringing some unexpected embellishments, but I'll show you that in a moment. Right now, I'm just showing you step 1 if you want. This is how I start the process when I'm working with photos and some patterns. Now, this one here, you'll see that there's a lot of moving pieces, but I really like the way that this is shaping up as well. So what I did for this one here, I've cut myself some strips, and that's going to go along each edge. And I basically used one of these bases and one of these envelopes, the inside piece. And of course, I brought back some really nice rose gold glitter paper. I did use for this one here the Spotlight on Nature. These dies are really great when you need to kind of anchor some of your clusters or when you just need to add a little bit of flair. So you can see here that I've got 3 and I've got my visual triangle. I've added those really cute little balloons that are from the kit. I've gone ahead and I've cut the smallest circle from this set, and I'm going to create a scallop edge to separate my solid piece from all of these pieces here on the edge. And this is a trick that I've learned from Chelsea, my very good friend, and it's super effective. And it's just, you got to sit down and cut a few circles, but that's about it. Now I've got a lot of moving pieces here. I am going to tack everything down. I have to come up with a title. And that's about it. So I was able to distribute quite a bit of this kit on 2 layouts. And I basically used an envelope and a card base for this particular one here. I did bring in some peach cardstock from Close to My Heart. And it does match this collection really nicely. So I'm going to go ahead next and I'm going to adhere all of these moving pieces down. And we're going to go to the next step, which is going to be adding a title and embellishments. Let's take a look at where I am in the process so far. I've gone ahead and I've tacked everything down. I've added my photos. And had I told you at the beginning that I was going to add snowflakes to this birthday layout, you probably would have thought, oh, that's not going to work. Well, for me, my birthday is in March, and here in Canada, there's always snow. This particular year, we always go away for my birthday. We take a weekend and we go scrapbooking, and we literally got snowed in. The snow fell off the roof of the cottage we were at, and it blocked the stairs. We couldn't get out. There was no way of getting out, trying to push it. It was taller than me. Now I did bring in these really pretty snowflakes from the frozen edges. This is in the mini catalog, and I stamped them right here at the top. Now I didn't want to overwhelm the page because this particular kit has a lot of patterns and the patterns are quite small, but I do feel like I could probably stamp another set right here at the top. I did try to stamp the icicles coming down and it was just not really working with the color that I'm using. So the color that I'm using is mulberry, and I think I'm going to just add a little bit more snowflakes right here at the top just to balance everything out. And I'll talk about the title in just one moment. So I'm just going to add a little bit more right here at the top. And I think that that's going to complete this corner of the layout really nicely. So I do like that. I did bring it here. I brought it in this corner right here. For my title right here, I did cut this out of my Cricut, and I will list the fonts down in the description below. It is big, it is bold, it takes up a statement, and it's pretty much like this big boulder that was blocking our way. So we woke up that morning, we were supposed to head out home, but we literally got snowed in. And you know what? Being snowed in with your bestie is not that bad at all. We ended up making iced coffee that morning, and we went back to scrapbooking all day long, and it was a lot of fun. From this stamp set, I also used these 2 sentiments. So snuggle up and hope for snow. That's an understatement. And wishing you a cozy day. So we did have a cozy day. It was very quiet, and we just kept on with our scrapbooking. So I did use quite a bit of this, and I'm pretty sure it wasn't designed for a scrapbook layout, but in this case here, it worked out just fine. So I'm going to tack this down, and I'm just going to do that with a little bit of glue. So when I tack down my titles, I usually try and keep the glue inside, like in the center, so that if I have to move it a little bit, it can be moved. And this particular one here, I did add 3 layers of the white so that it's nice and sturdy. And I think I'm just going to drop it right here. I like the bold statement. And believe me, that day was quite the snowed in day. So this is what I did with those pieces for layout number 1. Let's take a look at layout number 2. Here we have layout number 2, and I really like the way this turned out. It was not the same weekend. This was the year after COVID, but we were still kind of restricted here in Canada. So again, we went to our favorite place and celebrated my birthday and did lots of scrapbooking. For this layout right here, I did bring in the balloons and I did stamp the happy birthday. This birthday die is from my stash, but I did use the mini alphabet to spell out celebration because it was a birthday celebration. It started off in the morning with our tiaras and my birthday hat. I always have to wear the hat. A gorgeous cake, an awesome card, and then we went into a great supper, but definitely the highlight was just getting together with my bestie and hanging out and just scrapbooking, laughing, and having a grand old time. Now, from the stamp set, there was this one here. It said, make a wish. And I thought, well, that would be really, really good. So I'm going to add this here because there's not that much going on that side of the photo. And you'll notice that I'm repeating the pennants on this side here. This one's a curved one, but I think that it is good. I was debating adding something else to the background because I felt that this was really bland. I wanted to do stenciling, and then I thought, you know what? I'm going to dress up this bottom here with my title. Now, I still feel that there's something missing right here in this corner. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add a couple of candles right here. I think that that's going to look really good. So I'm going to move this. This is going to go somewhere like so. I do like that because the dark blue is picking up on that. And I'm going to stamp 2 candles right here in the dark blue. That looks pretty awesome. Now there is another part to this, which is the little sparkly bit. And I kind of want to do it in a different color, in that peach color. Let's see. One of the color in this kit is this petal pink. I think it's just going to finish off that corner. Instead of adding a whole bunch of distressing and stenciling, which is what I thought I was going to originally do. I think sometimes less is more. I think that's really cute. We're going to add this one here. I think that's perfect. Finishes off this area right here. And this was otherwise quite a blank space. We're going to tack these pieces down. Okay. And then I can add my birthday. I really like the way that these clusters turned out, and you do have this ribbon in the kit. I just tacked it a few places so that it keeps its shape. I tacked it on the photo and down here. Let's finish this layout and we're going to add a few gems. Now I've got these ones here and they're not exactly the same color, but you know what? I think that it's going to work out fine. So we're going to add a few here, which are going to accentuate the title. I'm going to go like this. I think I'm going to add some up here. It's just a little bit of flair. I'm going to drop it here. Do you see if I put my gem here, it's almost like a waist. You really don't see it, so I'm going to drop it right here so that you can actually see them. And I think this layout is a lot of fun. When I started playing with this collection or this kit, I wasn't sure how it was going to turn out. And then I looked for photos, and that was when the magic started to happen. Because sometimes if you just look at a kit and there's no photos to them, you kind of miss the direction. So for this one here, I can tell you that adding these photos really helped me with designing this layout and picking a direction as to where it had to go. And I'm really happy with it. So let me show you what I have left, and I'm going to go off camera and do a few cards. Let me just move this out of the way. I'm going to show you what I have left to make cards. Now, I might be able to use some of these letters. I do have all of the envelopes. I only used one. I do have these two bases right here that I can do cards. I have a full piece, so I could probably do this card. I did cut these pieces here, and I know that I can make cards with that. I tried to bring this in, but do you see how all of the patterns here are all kind of the same size? And that's because it's for cards. It's not so much for scrapbooking, but you can totally make it work. I have these pieces here that I could have cut my circles out of them, but I needed some place where your eye could rest, and that is done with plain colors as opposed to adding a whole bunch of patterns everywhere. I'm kind of glad that I have all of these because these do lend themselves for birthday cards. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to create a few cards, and then we'll do a project recap. Let's take a look at the completed cards. I was able to do 6 cards, and to be honest with you, I still have quite a bit of product left. I decided to call it quits because I wanted to work on another project, but this is how I store my leftovers if you want. I put them in these envelopes. These are the envelopes that the dies come in, and then I just take this and I go to the Get Started page. I fold it in half because this is the picture that you see the most of what's in that kit. I place that in here, close it off, and I can put this on my shelf. Definitely smaller than keeping a large box. So this is going to go on my shelf, and we're going to go through all of the cards that I've made. And this was based on the product that I had left over from my 2 layouts that I did. Now, I did bring in some embossing folders only because, I don't know, it just adds a little bit of fun. And I wanted to share a quick tip with you. These ones here are really, really big. And when you're doing an A2 card, I just took a center ruler and I marked off on the top right here. I'm not sure if you can see the little black dots. But for this particular one, if you want to have your A2 right in the center, this was very helpful in the process of creating these cards. So let's go through the cards quickly. These ones here were from the leftover panel. So I had the white panel left, and I decided to keep this clean and simple. And I really like the way that these turned out. So that's 2 of those. And then I did have quite a bit left of that same pattern if you want, and I ran this into the embossing folder and it really didn't stand out all that much, so I hit it with a little bit of white ink, and I think that resolved that issue. I changed it up here only because I didn't want to use the embossing folder again, and you'll see that I'm mixing and matching the little labels. I kind of went off script a little bit. This one here, I only had 2 balloons left because I used the other ones on my layout, but I managed to add a little pennant and, just stamp here and there, and I think that this works as well. Not sure if you can see that, but I did use that really nice embossing folder on these cards too. And then these ones here, I pretty much stayed true to the card design, except I don't have the back. And I did stamp here a couple of more little candles only because I felt that one candle on this cake, it looked a little lonely. So I've got 2 of those, and I'm being mindful because I did add some of my liquid pearls. This one here is the rose gold. It matched really, really well, and I'm not sure if they're entirely dry, but this is what I did with the leftovers. So let's bring back those 2 layouts. So here we have a layout number 1. And I really like the way it turned out. Just by using that card, which was supposed to be like an accordion fun fold card right in the center, it kind of dictated the size of my photos. So these here are 4 by 4, and this is a 4 by 6, but it kind of dictated the size of my photos. And I was really happy that I was able to bring in different elements to create this page. I love the way it turned out, and it's not too much. This is quite busy here right in the center, but everything else complements this page. Let's look at layout number 2. So again, layout number 2 was a lot of fun, and I did end up using 2 of these inside envelopes, but I think that it was nice to add a little pop of blue, and this is a busy pattern, but when you use it sparely and on a smaller scale, I do think that it does accentuate the photos. I've got these really nice clusters that were done with those balloons that were for the cards, and I really like the way my title turned out. I felt that this was a really big area and it was blank because this paper here is so pale. I wasn't sure if I was going to distress it or add something to it. And you know, now that I'm looking at it, I'm really glad I left it the way it is. I really do hope that you enjoy these videos as I deconstruct those kits to create wonderful projects with them. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I hope you have a fantastic week, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now. If you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to see new crafty projects. Here's a video you might just like. See you there.